You know, we have a tradition around here that some of you may not be familiar with, but it's called, how about them claymores?
Matthews drops, gets pressure, gets rid of it, looks for La Chapelle, touchdown Scotland.
La Chapelle in motion to give to Stacy, touchdown Claymore.
Matthews, touchdown, Scott Cooper again.
Matthews goes upstairs, looks, touchdown Scotland. What a big play to Sean La Chapelle. Matthews looks, goes over the middle, got a man, touchdown Scotland. Ball is tipped and picked off. George Coghill's got it and could be gone. Touchdown Scotland.
He's got all kinds of blocking.
He's got
20
a touchdown.
to the 10, to the 5, touchdown.
Stacy. Great.
Oh.
Effort and gone. Put that one in the book. Touchdown Scotland.
And Ballard moves up nicely to avoid the rush. He's looking deep downfield.
Oh, nice catch.
And
Beautiful
touchdown.
Ballard drops the pass, looks in the direction of Yo Murphy. Got it. Touchdown Scotland. Ballard looks for Murphy. Yes, touchdown. What a catch. Ballard goes upstairs, has a man, has a first down and more for Yo Murphy. He's going to score. What a throw. It's dropped. It's another touchdown.
In 1995, the Scottish Claymores finished their inaugural season at the bottom of the World League. 2 wins, 8 losses, no victories at home. But they attracted an extremely loyal home support, and at season's end, head coach Jim Kreiner made a forthright prediction.
You know, if they will give us the same loyalty and support that they did last year, if they'll bring 1 or 2 people with them to the ball games and continue to cheer like they have, we'll give them wins. We'll give them what they're looking for and what they deserve, because there's no reason why the Scottish Claymores can't be champions of the World League in 1996.
The Claymores organization regrouped for the '96 campaign, and new general manager Mike Keller knew exactly what needed to be done, starting in the front office.
Well, having worked with Jim before and having been in the football business myself for a long time, I knew that the primary job that I had was to try to remove the distractions and the hurdles that a team has that prevents it from doing the job that they have to do on the field. So what we came in to do was to provide for better housing, better food, steady payments to the players, all the little things that you would take for granted that seemed to be screwed up in 1995 for many of the World League teams. So what we did was try to remove the distractions and allow them to concentrate. And then the chemistry of the team took over and the quality of the player that Jim was able to assemble, and the results were on the field.
If the Claymores were to entice more people to come out to the games in '96, they needed a place where folks could find out about their new national gridiron team. 137 George Street in Edinburgh became a Claymores ticketing and merchandising outlet. A welcoming atmosphere and a large selection of gridiron gear formed the spearhead of Mike Keller's off-the-field strategy. He knew the Claymores had a lot of ground to make up.
We felt that we had a long way to go. We felt that the image of the Claymores in Scotland definitely needed improvement, and of course the success of the team was very much lacking, 2-8 and the worst in the league. What we wanted to do from a football standpoint and Coach Kreiner and I, having worked together in the past, we knew we could field a competitive team. We knew that we would have a competitive team, and the other thing we needed to do in the front office was to develop the image and perception of the Claymores as a first-class professional organization that was worthy for people to follow and for corporations to invest in.
Early in the new year, NFL Commissioner Paul Tagliabue came to Scotland to reiterate the NFL's commitment to American football both here and across Europe.
This is the second decade of our involvement, National Football League's involvement in developing American football in Europe. We started back in 1986, and we've done a variety of things since then. So 1996 is the beginning of the second decade, and that's sort of a benchmark for us. And we are pleased. Last year was the first time ever that we had a league in Europe that was exclusively based in Europe with multiple countries and teams participating. And we think that that set a good foundation that we can build on.
Sharing the top table with the league's top brass was a man already legendary in Scotland. Gavin Hastings joined the Claymores as a marketing consultant. But whatever Paul Tagliabue said to him must have kindled Gavin's competitive fires, because the very next week, the worst-kept secret in sport was out. Gavin Hastings would kick for the Claymores.
It's something that has been, you know, in the forefront of my mind for a few months now. And I guess that when I was over in the new year and I went along to the Denver Broncos training camp, and until then, you know, it was always just a sort of almost fantasy. But we had a good afternoon session there, and I quite enjoyed it. And I guess that was when I thought, well, yeah, I'm quite keen to take this forward.
Before a team of champions could be assembled to join Gavin, Coach Kreiner had to build a winning coaching staff, and he had to get the formula right.
I hired defensively first. I knew that in order for us to have a chance to develop the offense, since it was all going to be brand new, that we had to have a defensive team and staff that would be good early in the season while the offense was developing. And so I went and hired my old friend Ray Wilsey, who had tremendous experience not only in the NFL and in the colleges in the States, but also in the World League. And Ray gave me the maturity to build the defense around. Then came another one of my old-time buddies, is Bill Dutton, who I had brought in after the fourth game of the season last year, or the year before. And Bill came in to handle the defensive line, and then I was fortunate enough to pluck Larry Owens out of a junior college. And so when that defensive staff was put together, I knew we had a chance to be good. And offensively, my number one choice was Jim Soker, who had been an extremely successful head coach in the college division in the States, and mine and Jim's offensive philosophy coincide very, very closely. So I knew that that would be a good match, and when I was able to entice Jim to come, I was real excited about that. And my next choice was a young coach by the name of Vince Acaldi, who was an excellent player at Boise State, a school that I had coached at for 7 years, and who fit the philosophy that I wanted. That was a plus. So I took Mike Kinney and made him an offensive coach, and that rounded out the offensive staff. And it was a staff that I knew not only had the football skills and knowledge that we needed, but it was also a staff that I knew would work very well together and give us that chemistry that would allow the players to work in an atmosphere that they not only could see how they were going to get better, but also allowed them, you know, as a team to work together and give us the best that they had. And in the end, that's how you win championships, and it all fell into place very nicely.
March 1996, Atlanta, Georgia. The Claymores come together for the first time at Carrollton, 60 miles west of the city, for a grueling 4 weeks of training camp. Returning veterans from '95, allocated players from the NFL, strong new national players, and some hot draft picks. Out of 60 at camp, only 42 could make the final cut. The World League's leading rusher from '95, Saran Stacy, was in evidence, and he signaled his loyalties.
Claymores.
The training would be long, intense, and extremely demanding. One young man from Glasgow, a Claymore in '95, was once again determined to give his all and make the final team. To Scott Cooper, known to his teammates as Scoops, the change from '95's training camp was immediately evident.
Year one, we had Larry Kuharich. It was a Kuharich camp we were at, and it was tough. And Jim Kreiner took over when we actually came back to Scotland. So this year, so the '96 season, it was all Criners camp, and it was different. It was very, very hard work with a lot of meetings which we didn't have in the first year. We were doing 14-hour days. You were practicing twice a day for 3 hours, and that was every day for the month. And it really takes it out of you. But managed to survive it and come back to Scotland for the season.
A big part of training was practice games against the other World League teams. In the first scrimmage against the London Monarchs, returning safety George Coghill displayed his superb skills on defense, snagging a fine interception and powering downfield. The heartbeat of the defense was back. Gavin Hastings took his first kick under game conditions and showed he had what it takes. Jim Ballard tried out his throwing arm against Frankfurt Galaxy and found that he had a gifted receiver in Sean LaChapelle, who was allocated to the Claymores from the Kansas City Chiefs. Gavin Hastings continued to hit the bullseye. Against the Amsterdam Admirals, Marcus Thomas, another Claymores veteran from '95, found his way in for an early touchdown. But Amsterdam treated the scrimmage like a regular season game and went all out to beat the Claymores. Amsterdam won the scrimmage, but this preseason defeat did not dampen Coach Kreiner's spirits. On the contrary, the Claymores displayed little of their game plan, but learned a lot about their opponents.
I was very pleased. We sat down as a coaching staff and we made our game plans, not only what we were going to do in all three phases of the game, offense, defense, and special teams, but also we developed a philosophy. And we threw an awful lot at our players early, but we didn't show very much in our scrimmages against the other teams, but rather we concentrated on fundamental development and bringing our players along at a level that enabled them to make steady progress every single day that we were in training camp. And we knew that once we got into the season and started playing games, that would pay dividends both in being able to keep the players healthy once we got to Europe and we didn't have 60 players, but rather would be reduced to 42, because we would have a fundamental base, and therefore we wouldn't have to spend a lot of time once we got to Europe hitting. And so we worked on techniques and skill development, and it paid off for us. And even though we didn't show a lot to our opponents, our players performed very well in the scrimmages because of their technique and their skill development.
The battle-hardened Claymores arrived home and settled down into their new base at Glasgow's Central Hotel. Coach Kreiner gave a progress report.
Well, we're excited and happy to be, number one, to be home and to be back in Scotland for the start of the 1996 season. We had a good camp. We accomplished most of our goals. I wouldn't say that we accomplished every one of them. I think that you will be very pleased with what has taken place on the offensive side of the football, because we're going to be a much more exciting, more wide open style of offense, and we, I think, did an excellent job of filling in and correcting the weaknesses that our football team had last year.
The Claymores continued to focus and train hard in the final weeks of preseason. Strathclyde University's training grounds at Steps was the stage on which the team coalesced into a unified gridiron fighting machine. The hard work of the players combined with incisive coaching to produce a team that was prepared to taste victory.
If you believe that they are going to do something to give us a chance to win the game, and you're playing your ass off that way, it'll happen that way. And you know as well as I do that that's the way your championship teams won those games, because you were playing harder than the other team. 1, 2, 3, play more!
After the sweat and effort of the practice field, another part of the groundwork. A team trip to the movies for a special screening. The film, Braveheart. A history lesson and a valuable psychological preparation for the first game of the season against the old enemy, the London Monarchs. The Claymores got the message.
Number one this year.
I think it'll help us play. I think we can, we can learn more about the rich tradition of the Scottish way. and then we can sort of, you know, build upon that. You know, we sort of take that with us when we go down and play the English.
Just hearing some of the things about William Wallace and some of the great things he does, hopefully, you know, on Sunday I'll be able to do some of those things.
Well, we feel that we're a national team. We represent the nation of Scotland, and this weekend we have our big game against the English, and no better time to see the movie Braveheart and get the team ready for the battles to come than just prior to this ball game.
The game plan was in place. The fans brought their faith in the team south to London, and the Claymores took the field against the Monarchs. London had signed up William Perry, the football legend of the 1980s. They hoped the Fridge would be able to put the Claymores on ice. The stakes were high. Not just the rivalry, but a new trophy, the Budweiser Cup, would go to the victors in the first game of the season as the Claymores battled the London Monarchs.
Gordon gets us underway. Thomas steps up, and in fact, Fuller gets in front of him, takes it past the 20, finds a hole still on his feet, past the 30, over 40 to midfield before he's pushed out of bounds. Great start. David Gordon was there, the kicker that came up and actually pushed him out of bounds. A great start for the Scottish Claymores on special teams. James Fuller with the return.
Claymores quarterback Steve Matthews hadn't played a game in anger for 2 seasons, and he had trouble finding his form. But 7 plays and 2 timeouts later, he began to spark into life.
Dickerson in the backfield. Matthews drops. He's got a man, has he? It's a touchdown for the Claymores. It's gone to Yo Murphy.
Nice catch by Murphy. That was great coverage right there. Murphy just went up and took the ball right away from him. Watch the coverage. They come with a blitz. A nice job of picking up the blitz inside. Allows Matthew to have time and throw the ball up high. Did you see at the end how Yo Murphy went back and got that ball at its high point? Watch Crocker. He's working to the inside. Nice position. Good break on the ball. Here's the difference. He goes up, comes back, and grabs it at the highest point. And, of course, he comes down with a touchdown.
High snap. Terry Carr brings it down. And it goes through. Gavin Hastings has made a perfect start to his career as a professional American footballer, and I bet the Butterflies were going.
A convincing opening for the Claymores and their rookie kicker. Things were looking even better for the Scots when Monarchs rusher Russell White was stripped by Claymores defensive captain Mark Sander on London's first drive. But Claymore triggerman Steve Matthews blew the momentum when he was picked off by London cornerback Kenny McIntyre. McIntyre took full advantage of the Claymores' error and handed the Monarchs great field position. But the Monarchs couldn't capitalize either. No touchdown, and even their field goal try pulled right. David Gordon suffering the humiliation. In the second quarter, London got their running game into gear, and quarterback Preston Jones found his own rhythm. The Monarchs started to get hot, and the roof began to cave in on the Claymores.
Second down. Vinson with the catch and the touchdown. Jones looks, gets Gaston Green, touchdown London.
Nice play.
And Matthews is looking and is in trouble again. Jeff Hunter nailed him, and it's picked off by Darren Studstill, and this could be more trouble for Scotland, and it is. Touchdown London, they're running riot.
By halftime, the Claymores had a mountain to climb. They had conceded 21 unanswered points in the second quarter. Coach Kreiner must have borrowed a couple of pages from William Wallace's playbook because the Claymores came out swinging in the second half. We pick it up with the Bravehearts at midfield facing a crucial 3rd and 10.
Matthews gets pressure, gets it off.
Oh, I like that play.
La Chapelle trips up, maybe short of the first down mark. Stacey and Dickerson in the backfield. Big 4th down is for Scotland. Stacey gets it and gets enough. Second down. Matthews pressure, gets rid of it.
Well, they're screening these guys to death. La Chapelle again on the outside. Almost the same identical play that set up that 3rd down again here.
4 minutes left, 3rd quarter. They've moved it inside the 15-yard line of the London Monarchs. Murphy and La Chapelle are in out wide. They look for La Chapelle, who is stopped inside the 5. Gang tackled.
Nice job of La Chapelle knowing where he is, and a nice throw by Matthews.
Bobby Hammond with that 14-point cushion, but looking to preserve it. It's first down and goal, late 3rd quarter. Motion from Sean La Chapelle. Dickerson fumbles. And who is going to come up with that? This is a huge play for Scotland. They've got to recover it.
There's the snap. He just handed it to him perfect.
No,
he
never
just
had it.
Never put his hands on it.
But made sure he got it back. Matthews fakes to Stacey, then looks and goes for the bootleg. And does he get in? No, they're saying he didn't make it. Third down and not a lot. LaChapelle in motion. The pitch back is to Stacey and he's in. Touchdown Scotland, and we have a ball game.
Watch 27. He's going to go to his right. The play is designed to stretch the defense and create a hole. Now, once you have them commit, see 52 Caesar, he flowed outside. Stacey just broke it back inside and really did it all on his own.
Gavin Hastings maintained his 100% extra point record as the Scots clawed a little more ground back from the Monarchs. The score, 21-14. The Claymores trailing only by a touchdown.
Matthews finds Stacey. Stacey with some work to do. And does it.
Boy, he got a first down, and that was all Saran Stacey.
Monarchs 3:19 left. Scotland down by 7. Stacey picks his way to the 40-yard line. Ivan Caesar on the stop. Second down. Stacey, the workhorse again, picks his way closer. Flag comes in late in the London backfield.
Personal foul, smearing, number 25 against the defense.
That is Kevin Gaines.
Penalty at the end of the run. First down.
And that hurts the London Monarchs. The Scottish Claymores on the move at the 24. Stacey again, doesn't get it. Lewis Capes stuck with it. And got some help from Nick Smith, but Lewis Capes, the British national, made that play, and doesn't he know it? Dickerson and Stacey in the backfield. Matthews drops, gets pressure, gets rid of it. Looks for LaChapelle, touchdown Scotland. What a play.
And a great job by Ron Dickerson up front with the block, which allowed Matthews to have the time to find LaChapelle. Remember, a long, deep crossing route like that takes lots of time to develop. LaChapelle got beyond because Dickerson made the block up front. I want you to watch Dickerson, the fullback, number 23, is going to step up right over there. See him? Boom. And Saran Stacey as well with the block. And that allows LaChapelle to get beyond the defender and take it into the end zone.
That superb catch from Sean LaChapelle meant that Gavin Hastings was called upon to tighten up the laces on his boots for a high-pressure kick.
He's been in bigger pressure situations than this, but that's in his own game. He's in a different game now. He's 2 for 2 so far. He's got to nail this one. Terry Carr, the holder. High snap, Carr gets it down. Hastings nails it.
Like he was born there.
When the going gets tough, the tough get level. Hastings showing some of his big match experience to tie the scores at 21-all with just 1 minute 53 left in the ballgame. The Claymores were given the chance to win it when London stalled. Sonny Fexico sliced his punt out of bounds and gave the Scots good field position at their own 30-yard line. Coach Hammond let his feelings be known to poor old Sonny. But Matthews betrayed his inexperience by throwing a third interception, this time on a misrun pass route, but once again pulled down by Sean Crocker. The Monarchs couldn't move it, and with just 3 seconds left, it was down to David Gordon to try to win it from 38 yards.
Well, the pressure's on David Gordon. This for the game. He did it for Boston College against Notre Dame in '93. Can he do it for London against Scotland?
Shanked it.
And no. It never had a shot.
Heartbreak for David Gordon, but delight for Jim Kreiner. The game going into overtime. The Claymores won the toss and elected to kick off, giving first possession in the 10-minute overtime to the Monarchs, who couldn't move it, and they were forced to punt. That meant that the Claymores could win it with a score.
Second down and 10 for the Scottish Claymores. Matthews with pressure coming, gets rid of it quickly. And there's some running room here for Sean LaChapelle, who eventually gets hit by Andre Allen. A flag comes in, but that was a huge play.
That hope turned to abject despair on the very next play when Steve Matthews was sacked by London defensive end A.J. Jenkins. That meant that third down was a do-or-die proposition.
Matthews goes upstairs on third down.
Oh, what a catch!
Sean LaChapelle has just come up with what could be a game winner for the Scottish Claymores.
The Claymores called on Saran Stacey to gain the short yardage.
Stacey looking to go inside the 5 to around the 3. Third down at about the 3. They stay on the ground. Matthews gets nailed, flattened. Andre Allen.
But that was enough for Kreiner. He sent in Paul McCallum to win the game from 27 yards.
The boos go up. This for the game. High enough, good enough. Scotland win in overtime.
Glory to the Scottish Claymores. Paul McCallum, sensational game winner, capping a 17-point comeback to leave the Monarchs without a crown and the all-new Gridiron Tartan Army on cloud 9. George Cockhill and Ben Torriero wasted no time getting their hands on the prize. The Scottish Lions rampant once again. The Claymores showed off their first silverware, the Budweiser Cup, and Ben Torriero had a message for everyone back home.
We came back from the dead. That's something that you didn't see last year. You Balti, we're back.
All of a sudden, this football team that had been last the year before now was in a tie with anyone else that won their football game that first week, and we were rewarded for it by doing so, by winning on the road and winning the Bud Trophy. So I think it was a big plus for our football players, and again, it just added to the confidence level that our team had.
Gridiron debutant Gavin Hastings got a boost to his confidence level when he tied the scores in the 4th. Nerve-wracking?
It was. I mean, I still have nightmares about it now because I thought, my God, what would have happened if I'd missed it? But, you know, I think everything about that first day down at White Hart Lane was a memorable experience, and just playing in that atmosphere and in the music and against the fridge. I mean, he was putting me under a bit of pressure, I think. I mean, he threatened to sit on me, which would have been the world's worst experience. So, you know, from that point of view, it was a great day, and obviously it put the Claymore season off to a great start.
In week 2, the Claymores hosted the Barcelona Dragons at Murrayfield in the first home game of 1996. Just under 13,000 turned out in the hopes of witnessing a Claymores' first victory at home. Coach Kreiner was keen to deliver the home fans a victory, but Dragons coach Jack Bicknell was hoping for a repeat of last season. After the coin toss, the Scots faced off against the Dragons, who were coming off an impressive overtime win against Amsterdam in week 1.
Murrayfield, Edinburgh, Scotland, and the Claymores kick it away. Barcelona receiving. Marvin Marshall takes a kickoff, crosses at 20, and he is dragged down at the 26.
Claymore's defensive tackle, number 90, mighty Joe O'Brien, delighted in the first skirmish, and the Claymore's D began to hit hard. Shannon Jones causing Dragon running back Charles Thompson to fumble away possession on Barcelona's first drive. The Claymores marched on downfield, and Paul McCallum put through a 33-yard field goal for the first Claymores points on Scottish soil in 1996. That cheered the hearts of the home fans. David Wilson was a bit overzealous, and it looked like pass interference when the number 25 swatted Kenny Shedd in the end zone. The referees called it an incomplete pass, but to Jack Bicknell,
that was unbelievable.
Nevertheless, the Claymores carried a 3-0 lead into the second quarter, and the Dragons had to bite on a bad call. David Wilson had a chance to display better timing and consummate skill in the secondary.
Holcomb in trouble, and then fires across the middle, and it's picked off. David Wilson, who got away with an interference call in the end zone, gets his first interception of the season at the 37-yard line. 3rd down and 1. The pitch to Stacey. 1st down to the 9 before being tackled by Tim Watson.
One thing that Saron Stacey does that I like, he's a great runner in terms of balance and acceleration, but watch here the way he follows his blockers. Knowing exactly when to accelerate, which way to cut, and he's always falling forward for that extra yardage. Tell you what, I would be very surprised if he didn't have a look in somebody's camp this year. It's about time that Saron Stacey got a shot to help somebody, because I think he can.
Well, they go to the first man through. By a halo, and he gets a couple of yards. He's in trouble here. Broke the first tackle, but cannot escape the arms of number 91, linebacker Kevin O'Brien. Third and long for Matthews, and he throws wide open into the end zone. Touchdown, La Chapelle.
The same kind of pressure on the outside, but watch the way Matthews says, okay, I'll just step up in this pocket. Great protection by Hunt inside and spots the open man on the run. And I'll tell you, the fact that he's left-handed, Tom, that ball comes out of there kind of screwy. The defense isn't used to looking at that.
And the Claymores padded their lead to 10 when Gavin Hastings kicked the extra point, his first score at Murrayfield in a helmet and shoulder pads. Paul McCallum booted 2 field goals for Scotland to lengthen their lead 16-0. But Dragons receiver Kenny Shedd beat out the secondary to catch a perfect pass and run it all the way in for a touchdown, giving Barcelona renewed hope, 16-7. On the Claymores' next drive, Steve Matthews began to repay Coach Kreiner's confidence in him as the first choice for quarterback.
And Matthews drops the throw. Good protection down the middle of the field. And it's broken up. Was it intercepted? No, are they saying he made the catch? You gotta be kidding. Yo Murphy all the way at the 5.
A wave of unease began to break out over Cowboy Jack, and 3 plays later came the wipeout.
LaChapelle in motion to give to Stacy. Touchdown, Claymore.
Well, we know he can run outside. We know he can dance, but he can be tough when he has to. He didn't have to be tough very long, and that ball's in the air. It doesn't matter. It looked as though he crossed the plane. But if you're going to run the ball, who would you rather run over? A guy that's 383, a guy that's 308? I'll take my chances going over both those guys. That's a lot of beef, pal.
And the extra point just barely able to sneak through.
Saran Stacy could take pride in his performance, but he only wanted to send a message to Mom. The Dragons managed an unconverted touchdown to make the final score 23-13, but the day belonged to the Claymores, and more importantly, the fans, who had finally tasted that elusive home victory they craved so much. Gavin Hastings started to party hardy, and the players indulged in some mutual admiration with the Gridiron faithful. For Jim Kreiner, an important bond had been forged.
It was a big win for us, not only because we now could show our fans how good a football team we are, but also we were playing against a very good football team in Barcelona, who, especially on the offensive side, you know, had a lot of returning starters and were very, very capable. Our defense played extremely well and shut them down, and offensively, we had 3 real good drives in that ball game and scored enough points to win the game. And not only now were we 2-0, but we had won at home and showed our own fans what kind of a football team we were going to be.
The ecstatic response of the Scottish Gridiron fans buoyed the Claymores, and Jim Kreiner acknowledged the vital role of that 12th man.
You know, you have a tendency to forget from one year to the next when you've got so many other things on your mind. And in 1995, our crowd, our fans had been very vocal and enthusiastic in supporting our team in a mostly a losing effort. Well, they returned with that same kind of enthusiasm, and when we gave them something to cheer about, they demonstrated what they were going to be, how good a crowd they were going to be, and they really were very vocal. And this meant something to our players, and it helped establish a real bond between the players and the fans that they were able to carry throughout the season.
Of course, when you go to Murrayfield to see the Claymores, you don't just get 60 minutes of football action. You get a 3-hour party thrown in at no extra charge. Entertainment, refreshments, oodles of stuff to keep adults, families, and young people involved in a feel-good atmosphere that's hard to beat. In Week 3, the Claymores invited over 2,000 Scouts and Cub Scouts to be their guests at the game. This was just one indication of the Scottish Claymores' commitment to encourage youth development of American football in Scotland. And the Scouts soon got into the swing of things. Another bumper crowd of just over 13,000 greeted the 2-0 Claymores on a beautifully sunny April afternoon. The opposition of the day, the highly fancied Amsterdam Admirals. The Claymores had never beaten the Admirals before, and the Braveheart veterans of '95 were especially keen to silence the trash talk. The two teams were at the top of their game, a high standard of football was expected, and no one was disappointed.
3rd and 5 for the Claymores from just outside the 50-yard line. Matthews under heavy pressure, and look at that catch by Willie Tate. Up close to a 1st down yardage.
excellent awareness on the part of Willie Tate. You're going to see here that Steve Matthews comes under pressure from Malcolm Scholl. He holds his feet, makes a throw downfield, and look at one-handed grab behind his back, too. Talented guy. You can take another look at the catch here. I'll tell you, Willie Tate is a guy, the rap on him is he has great hands, and it shows right there.
Tate, a great catch, giving the Claymores their second first down, and the swing pass out to Stacy in the worst spot, the hands, huh? Second and 9, play fake from Matthews, comes to the near side and hits Dickerson, who breaks a tackle on the near side, spins up inside the 40-yard line before he's pushed out by Rico Mack. Third down and 5, and Matthews back to throw again. Comes near side, hits Dickerson, up close to another first down. I believe they have it. He's brought down by O'Neill, the nickel backer that you just spoke about, but Scotland moving the ball downfield just as they wanted. LaChapelle in motion to the far side, and the give to Saran Stacy, dances through a hole, gets inside the 30 to the 28-yard line. Another pretty decent pickup. Robert O'Neill on the tackle again. Pitch to the far side, and Stacy has a hole. Stacy gets all the way down to close to the 10-yard line before he's knocked out by Kelly Sims. Nice play.
Watch the fullback, 23, Ron Dickerson. He makes the key block right there on Robert O'Neill, and that springs the whole thing.
Second and 5, the pitch to Stacy, another big hole. He'll score easily.
Watch the two key blocks. Purvis Hunt, the guard, 79, kicking out. And then the lead block again. Fullback Ron Dickerson cuts his man, and it's right into the end zone for Saran Stacy.
And Scottish rugby legend Gavin Hastings on for the extra point. He's been perfect on 5 PATs this season.
And Saran Stacy just couldn't keep his foot off the gas. In the first quarter alone, he clocked up 102 yards. This 35-yard scramble came on the Claymores' very next possession. 1996 was shaping up to be another record-breaking year for Saran Stacy. His running propelled a 7-play drive down to the Admirals' 18, and the Claymores were all set to score. But the Amsterdam Admirals are a team who are always ready to take advantage.
Another big third down as we end near the end of the first quarter. That pass is deflected and intercepted by Rico Mack. And Mack has a convoy. He'll go. Rico Mack turns the tide.
For Jim Kreiner, the grin was gone, but his smile soon returned with a piece of genuine Scottish sporting history.
Third down, goal to go on the 5. Matthews, touchdown. Scott Cooper again. First career touchdown, and look at him. He is in heaven.
And so is everybody here in Scotland. There's a happy guy, Eric.
They've got another reason to party here in Edinburgh as if they need one. The National has scored his first career touchdown here in the World League. The extra point by Gavin Hastings, another national hero, is good. And the Scottish Claymores have a 14-7 lead.
That was a terrific catch by Scott Cooper. Touch number 23, Ron Dickerson, pick up the blitz to make this whole thing happen. See the time he bought him? And when you have that situation of a blitzing linebacker, you're going to create a one-on-one situation with Scott Cooper.
In American football, you try to conceal what you're doing from your opponent for as long as possible. In the third quarter, the Admirals offered up what looked like a punt.
Adam Vintieri on the fake, and look, they have faked out everyone, and Kelly Sims has the football. He's got to beat Lee Gissendaner to the goal line, and does. Touchdown. What a play. Everybody in this stadium faked out by that one.
The key to the fake punt is for the kicker to make everyone believe the ball has gone way over his head. Kelly Sims grabbed the pigskin, and the Claymores' defense was split wide open. No one was there to stop him, but Lee Gissendaner never gave up, felling Sims just a little too late. But the Claymores hit right back with a fake of their own. Keep your eye on number 40.
3rd and 3, and the fake went to Marcus Thomas, and Steve Matthews kept it himself and rolls it into the end zone.
That time he saw 2 run plays, a play action, and then he comes out of the naked bootleg, takes it all the way in for the end zone.
Gavin Hastings will convert after the high snap. Terry Card put it down beautifully for him, and Hastings puts it through.
Convincing victory for the Claymores, 21-14 over the Admirals. For Scott Cooper, a major milestone in his gridiron career.
I was standing in the huddle that day, and they called the play for me to run a flag and up. And I thought, well, this could be it. This could be my chance. And I ran a nice pattern, and I beat the guy, but he actually tried to hold me. And I laid out for the ball, and I didn't come up with it. The ball just slipped out, and I thought, that's it, my chance is come and gone. I went back to the huddle, and a couple of plays later, Steve Matthews called a play, and we caught them in man coverage, where actually it's just a man on you, they're not covering zones. And I thought, this could go to me again. If I run a nice pattern here, I might break open. Sure enough, I cut in a shallow cross pattern, it's called. And I just thought, I'm open. If Steve sees me, I've got a chance here, and he did. And I just remember focusing on the ball, making sure I caught it, and just turning and seeing that goal line. And I just heard the roar of the crowd, and I just started roaring. It was just crazy. Anyone who ever plays a sport, an amateur sport as a hobby or whatever, they always dream about doing what they love on the big stage, and I was getting a chance to stand there and get the respect of your peers, the other players, and just to hear the noise from the stands and people cheering. There's no feeling on earth like it.
This was a big, big touchdown, not only for our fans, but for our team as well, who think so much of Scotty, and the whole team celebrated with Scotty in the end zone on this one. And so it was a big game, and one that meant an awful lot to our players. Amsterdam had been billed as the team to beat in the league, and this put us in a position right now where we were now the team to beat, and basically that if you were going to get to the World Bowl, you had to come through Scotland.
The Claymores hit the road in Week 4, taking on Rhine Fire in Dusseldorf. Injuries were beginning to plague the Scottish side, but they had 3 wins so far in the season. Rhine Fire had 3 losses, but victory was by no means a certainty for the Bravehearts. The Claymores faced a potent enemy in the form of tight end Byron Chamberlain. He capped the Fire's opening drive with a clean catch from quarterback Andy Kelly. The Pat was no good, and the Fire led by 6. 2 possessions later, the Claymores had reached the Rhine 21. Steve Matthews swung a pass out to Saran Stacy, who just couldn't find a reason to stay out of the end zone. Gavin Hastings converted, and the Claymores led 7-6. 2 field goals for the Fire gave them a 12-7 advantage, but Steve Matthews and Sean LaChapelle relaunched their double act.
Matthews goes upstairs, looks, and has he come down with it? Touchdown, Scotland. What a big play to Sean LaChapelle. 33 yards, and that was a tremendous catch.
Once more, the Claymores were hitting on all cylinders. Saran Stacy faked the handoff, and Steve Matthews had plenty of time to find Sean LaChapelle. The lanky receiver timed his catch to perfection and wrested the ball from 2 defenders. No wonder Sean LaChapelle was the hottest receiver on the Claymores roster. The Claymores led 14-12 after Gavin Hastings converted. But the Fire made it down to the Claymores' 6-yard line, and Leo Aragus booted through a 3-pointer to make it 15-14 Rhine Fire. With only 1 point in it, the match was true to the form of all the Claymores' Rhine Fire encounters so far. Just before the 2-minute warning, the Fire had a 3rd and 3 on their own 30-yard line, and Andy Kelly decided to go long. The pass was overthrown, and that meant the Fire would probably have to give up possession on the next play, but suddenly Boris Cheek threw a penalty flag from the sidelines, and confusion reigned. It looked like the line judge simply tripped, and there ought to have been a warning if the Claymores players were too close to the field. After a discussion, referee Phil Luckett delivered a surprising verdict.
We have an unsportsmanlike conduct on Scotland. No! Your first down after 15-yard penalty.
We've not received one single warning the entire ball game.
You know that's not true.
No, I'm the backup.
It was a tough call that meant that Rhine Fire could retain possession and run the clock out, thereby becoming the victors 15-14. Coach Kreiner was magnanimous in defeat as he congratulated Galen Hall on his first win this season.
Dusseldorf had played well, but had lost 3 ball games by a very, very small margin. And we didn't play particularly well. And so all of a sudden we end up in a dogfight that went right down to the wire, and Dusseldorf won the game by 1 point. And it was a disappointing game for us, but also a very, very valuable lesson. And we didn't play well on offense, and our defense had kept us in the ball game, but we weren't able to capitalize on any of the opportunities that they gave us. So it was a tough game, but one that we learned from, and one that would set the stage for the big game the following week in our first half showdown with Frankfurt.
And what about Boris Cheek's contribution to the game?
Well, the officiating was less than magnificent, and I think that we're probably better off letting it go at that.
Week 5, the Waldstadion, Frankfurt, Germany. The showdown that would decide which team would host the World Bowl. A huge crowd of over 32,000 Galaxy faithful turned out to see the game. Coach Kreiner and the Claymores were single-minded in pursuit of victory, but Galaxy under head coach Ernie Stautner were unbeaten at 4-0 and displayed confidence. The Claymores had everything to play for in the most important game of their history thus far. The underdog Claymores bit first. Steve Matthews unloaded a 41-yard bomb to Sean LaChapelle on their second possession. But it looked like becoming a bit of a dog day afternoon for the Scots when fullback Jared Kayahalo fumbled the ball after making some good yardage and gave possession to Frankfurt. But the Galaxy couldn't do anything with it. Quarterback Steve Pelluer's timing was off after a week out injured, and George Coghill showed how a safety earns his pay. We pick up the action on the Claymores' next drive. It's 2nd and 8 on their own 30-yard line.
Matthews looks, has a man wide open to midfield. LaChapelle beats one man. Now it's a foot race, and he's down at about the 25 by Mark Byers, who came back from linebacker, but they work Lance Gunn again. Stacey with a hole, gets inside the 20 and falls forward down to about the 17-yard line. 7 good yards on the ground for Saran. Brings up a nice-looking 2nd and 3 for the Scottish Claymores. Looking to break open early. Stacey has some work to do now. Gets past Mike Kerr and will be short of first down yardage by about a yard. Kerr got some help from Reginald Lee, the linebacker. 3rd and a yard from the Galaxy 15-yard line. The Claymores looking to keep this drive alive. They go with Stacey, who picks his way through and may not have got it. Bernard Carter made a big hit, and that's going to be a question of where they spot it.
Let's kick it. Jumbo, Jumbo, get in and kick it. Jumbo.
Paul McCallum has drilled it. It's certainly got the distance, and it's accurate as well. And with 1:46 remaining in the first quarter, the Claymores have broken on top. Paul McCallum with a 32-yard kick.
Things swung back in the home team's favor at the start of the second quarter when Lee Gissendaner couldn't hold on to a Frankfurt punt, and the ball was scooped up by Lance Gunn. But Lee got off the hook when Forey Duckett wrested a Steve Pelluer pass away from Jay Kearney. Once again, however, the Claymores' offense got mired down, and Frankfurt got possession. Pelluer picked up where he left off, once more firing at Jay Kearney, 23 yards. But when he aimed at Mario Bailey on the next play, George Coghill again leaped high out of the secondary to snag the pigskin and give the Claymores sensational field position for their next drive. Once again, the fearsome Claymores D handed the offense the platform for a fresh attack.
Matthews drops the pass, gets pressure, gets it off, and he's looking for Yo Murphy, and he's got him down at the 8-yard line. Murphy coming in ahead of Fred Foggy.
But the Claymores couldn't get any closer. With 40 seconds left in the half, Paul McCallum was sent in for a field goal to stretch it to 6.
27 yards, certainly long enough and wide, and that's the first miss for a Scottish Claymores kicker this season.
Paul McCallum's uncharacteristic miss fired up the Galaxy fans. At halftime, Steve Pelluer was replaced by Brad Bretz, and James Williams went on a lone cornerback blitz to drop him for a 9-yard loss. Galaxy had to punt, and that set up a historic opportunity for Saran Stacey.
Matthews gives to Stacey, who trips and forwards for about 4 yards.
And that was enough to make Saran Stacey the World League's all-time leading rusher, more than 1,121 yards over a season and a half. But despite his record-breaking run, the Claymores offense had to punt.
Brad Brett still in for the injured Steve Pallor at quarterback. Brett's pump fakes, goes long, looks for Mario Bailey, picked off by the Claymores defense again. James Fuller against the team that cut him in preseason.
Payback time for James Fuller, but again, the Claymores found it hard to advance, and Paul McCallum came in.
25-yard field goals should be automatic. Certainly long enough. Is it good enough? It is.
Paul made good after his earlier miss, and that put the Claymores up 6-0. We pick up the play-by-play at the start of the fourth.
2nd down and 10 for Frankfurt. Looking to break their duck. Pressure comes. Coghill on the blitz. It's picked off. They've done it again. Arnold Allais past the 40 to midfield. The Scottish defense is playing a storming game.
Fine heads-up play by Arnold Ali. But the guy who makes this play is number 54, Mark Sanders. Watch him to the left of your screen. He goes out and he has the back. And when he sees the back, he times it perfectly, and his helmet is on the ball, on contact. It pops out Arnold Ali. Nice heads-up awareness.
Frankfurt, every time it looks like they've moved into a scoring position, this Scottish defense has come up with a turnover. And now Steve Matthews has excellent field position to try and put it away. The play action, he looks, he's got a man, Sean LaChapelle, down to about the 32-yard line. Chris Hall pushed him out of bounds. Good for 15 yards and another Claymores first down. Saran Stacey on the ground, looks for his blockers, cuts back inside, picks up around 7 or 8 yards before Don Reynolds eventually trips him up. But another impressive piece of running from the man from Alabama. On the ground again, Stacey looks, picks, works, jinks, and gets enough for a first down. It must have changed directions 3 times there, Saran Stacey, and they'll move the chains. Tom Cavallo on the stop. First down, Scotland leading by 6. 9.5 minutes left in the ball game. Matthews looks, goes over the middle, got a man, touchdown, Scotland. Sean LaChapelle.
Look at the last 2 plays. That's the 2 guys they were supposed to stop. The last play was 27. They were supposed to stop him. They didn't. This time, it's Sean LaChapelle. He draws man-to-man coverage. And when it comes time to catch the ball, he just separates himself from Fed Froggy.
On its way, and good.
Sean LaChapelle silenced the Waldstadion crowd and handed the Claymores a vital 13-0 lead. Sean ran a superbly executed post route that just split Galaxy's coverage wide open and left cornerback Fred Foggy no chance. But Frankfurt took over with just 9 minutes left and a mountain to climb.
Brett goes upstairs, looks for Bailey, and it's picked off again.
Fuller.
And it's James Fuller, and that is the final insult.
Right on front of the Frankfurt Galaxy. I think it almost hit Ernie Stotner on the foot.
He's made a point.
James Fuller is an excitable boy this evening. I think Warren Zevon had him in mind when he was talking about an excitable boy. Great break on the ball.
And now Frankfurt are in trouble. They go on the ground. Saran Stacey eventually trips his way to midfield, a pickup of 6 yards. It'll bring up a 2nd down and 4, and they're under 9 minutes.
Say, my mom, I'm a peeps at home. K-Dog, Jay, peace. Like I'm out here. We're going to take the World Bowl to Scotland.
I can't believe this is the same Claymores team that I saw last week in Dusseldorf. They were very poor. Nothing poor about this. Matthews on the bootleg. Don Reynolds after him. Matthews will pick up a first down. Gutsy play from Matthews. It didn't go out of bounds. He took the hit. The Scottish Claymores have totally wiped out this Frankfurt offense. 1st and 10 at the 42-yard line of the Galaxy for the Scottish Claymores. Ahead by 13. Looking for more. Stacey trips his way through for just a couple. Frank Messmer, the first man there. Tom Cavallo finished it off. And the crowd here very quiet. A few jeers and whistles. but not much flag waving or shouting. Swing pass to Saran Stacey in the flat, who's going to get a first down and more. Still on his feet. Stacey to the 22-yard line. First down and 10. The pitch back goes to Stacey again, who cuts back inside, stays on his feet, down to the 15. One man to beat. Jukes and fakes to the 8, a pickup of 15. Chris Hall eventually on the stop, but this is adding insult to injury. 5:30 left. Motion from Scott Cooper. He looks, he fires, he's got a man. It's stopped short of a touchdown. They're still playing it tough down there. Scott Cooper was thinking touchdown. Fred Foggy was thinking hit. 5 minutes left. Scotland looking to put this one away. Ahead by 13. Motion from Willie Tate, the tight end. The pitch back is to Marcus Thomas, who cuts inside. Touchdown, Scotland. Marcus Thomas with his first run of the night, and it's for 6.
I hate to say the Q word, but when you look at the defensive line of Frankfurt, getting pushed around off the ball on both sides of it. If they go to the left, they're pushed off the ball. If they go to the right, they're pushed off the ball. I mean, it appears to me that they just conceded. They said, hey, we can't stop what they're doing up front. We have no answers right now.
And you know what we're seeing here in Frankfurt, something I've never seen before. Fans leaving early. Flags come in. Hastings drills the extra point, but there are at least 3 flags.
But the flags were against Galaxy. The score stood, and the reigning World Bowl champs were put to the sword, cut down to size by the Scottish Claymores. George Coghill's safety blitz preserved the shutout, and all that was left to do was to douse victorious head coach Jim Kreiner in the traditional way. All the tension of the game just turned to joy in the moment of victory, something that Gavin Hastings was well familiar with.
In 6 weeks' time. We're coming home. We are coming and bringing the boat to Scotland. Better all come and see it. It's going to be a classic.
An amazing victory, the stuff of legends. To shut out the Frankfurt Galaxy at their home ground, the defense absolutely unstoppable. It was all going the way Coach Jim Kreiner had planned it.
It was a tremendous feeling for a lot of reasons. Not only because all of a sudden now now Scotland truly is the place where you have to come if you want to win the World Bowl, but our football players played so well in that game. At that point, there was no question we were by far the best football team in the World League. And as we looked at it as a coaching staff, we were very gratified at where we were, but we're also now concerned about maintaining this momentum and this level of play for 5 more weeks before we do get a chance to play for the World Bowl, and knowing that it's going to be in our backyard.
The big games are when the big players come out to play. I think that night, you know, that the biggest player who stepped up that night was none other than my good friend himself, James Fuller. We picked James up off of waivers from Frankfurt Galaxy. You know, he had a point to prove. You know, I mean, and he proved it 3 times that night. Saran just was as usual. You know, he was a stallion just running in a donkey derby. Nobody could stop him that night. The quarterbacks themselves, they matured that night as well into team leaders. The whole team, the Scottish Claymores, matured that night in Frankfurt.
Well, it was a magical night for us, myself in particular, having worked with the Galaxy in the latter half of 1995. But it meant an awful lot to us because it was more or less the culmination of the turnaround for the team at that point. It meant that we were going to be in the World Bowl. It meant that we would be hosting the game at Murrayfield. And it meant that the Scottish fan market that we were trying to penetrate were going to be coming out to see us play, we felt. And so it was really a transformation from top to bottom, and that was the night that everything came home for us.
It certainly did. I mean, it was a victory, but it was such an emphatic victory, wasn't it?
Well, it was emphatic in that we won 20-0. We shut out the most powerful offensive team in the league. And even more than that, I think we were more or less written off by most people in the league. Going into Frankfurt, playing in front of the largest home crowd of the year at that point, I think that everybody felt, well, I know the Frankfurt Galaxy people were starting to print tickets for the World Bowl in Frankfurt. So being able to go in, being able to stuff it, you know, to a group of guys that were taking some things for granted was very rewarding for all of us.
So at the halfway point of the 96 World League season, the Claymores were at the summit, set to host the World Bowl, an incredible transformation from 1995. In Week 6, Rhine Fire came over to Murrayfield. Remarkably, they were the only team in the league the Claymores had yet to beat. On the Claymores' first drive, Saran Stacey ran right through a porous Rhine Fire defense for a 31-yard touchdown run. Gavin Hastings pulled his conversion attempt to the left, but the Claymores led 6-0. Leo Aragoose booted a Rhine Fire field goal to make it 6-3, and on the Claymores' next possession, Matthews found Saran Stacey on a swing pass, and Saran did what he does best. Touchdown, Scotland. This time, Gavin Hastings was right on the money, and the score stood at 13-3. Just into the second quarter, Jared Kayahalo took the handoff and bulldozed straight into the end zone for a third Braveheart touchdown. The Claymores went for a 2-point conversion, and Sean LaChapelle came up with it. Paul McCallum notched up a field goal before halftime to make it 24-3, but to Rhine Fire's credit, they piled up 16 unanswered points in the second half, but it wasn't enough. The Claymores had a famous victory, dousing the Fire for the first time, 24-19, the final score. In Week 7, the Frankfurt Galaxy came to Murrayfield hungry to reassert their former dominance, and they were the first on the board when a Steve Matthews pass was tipped and Chris Hall plucked the pigskin from the sky, running it back over 27 yards for a touchdown. Paul McCallum booted a field goal to make it 7-3 in favor of Frankfurt, and on the Claymores' first possession of the second half, Steve Matthews found Sean LaChapelle just the way he'd been doing it all season long, 10-7 Claymores. Ralph Kleineman leveled the scores with a 32-yard field goal for Galaxy, but the Claymores seized the lead once more when Herman Carroll swatted Steve Pelluer's pass, George Caulfield snagged it, and added 32 yards and another touchdown to his stats. The fans went wild. But Frankfurt weren't quitting this time. With 1 minute left on the clock, Brad Bretz hit Jay Kearney from the Claymores 44 with a bomb that pulled the Galaxy level, 17-all. The Claymores had less than a minute to finish the Galaxy off in regulation time. Matthews found Sean LaChapelle for a 26-yard gain, which gave Paul McCallum a chance to clinch by a field goal with just 6 seconds before the whistle.
It's good! What a play, Paul McCallum!
Now, if you come out to see the Claymores, you might run into this man. He calls himself Captain Claymore, but is he for real?
That's it. I'm telling you, I'm from a planet beyond the sun. I was polishing a radioactive claymore and it nicked my finger, and suddenly I had special powers. Every time I go to the lavatory, I come out looking like this. I can't help it. It's very embarrassing when I'm at work, but there you go. Anyway, Claymores!
But just who is that masked man? In Week 8, the Claymores journeyed to Amsterdam to battle the Admirals, who were still contenders for the second World Bowl berth. It was the last time either team would meet in the Olympic Stadium. The Admirals were set to move into the brand-new Amsterdam Arena for '97. The Admirals enjoyed a 10-0 halftime lead when Steve Matthews had to leave the game after absorbing a direct hit from Admirals defensive lineman Jim Hanna. Jim Ballard came in at quarterback. He'd waited all season for the nod, and his presence registered immediately.
Looks to the end zone, deep end zone, and it's caught by LaChapelle for a touchdown. Going up for LaChapelle as the catch out in front. Going to be a foot race, midfield to the 40, to the 30, and down at the 20-yard line. First down, and a give to Stacey. A reverse this time for Gissendaner. He's got all kinds of blocking.
He's got
20,
a touchdown.
to the 10, to the 5, touchdown! Little fade pattern for Yo Murphy. Goes up, got it, touchdown. Just that simple.
The Claymores well ahead, 21-10, but Admiral Philip Bobo clawed back a Dutch touchdown. Jim Ballard wasn't through yet, though.
Going up again, going deep, got a man out in front. It is LaChapelle for the score. And once again, perfect execution.
Perfect execution. How about a perfect pass? Could that have been any sweeter? What touch by Ballard?
Another Amsterdam touchdown made it 27-24, and with 4 minutes left, the Admirals' trigger man decided not to pull the trigger, sensing a scramble would better serve. His courage was amply rewarded. 31-27, the final score, and the Admirals remained in the hunt.
It took a great effort by Amsterdam's offense to come back and win the football game at the end of the game on a great run by their quarterback. It's a 40-yard scramble, and that was the touchdown that clinched the game. As the game went, it just seemed like, at one point, it almost seemed like the team that had the ball last was going to win. But this was when Jimmy Ballard came in and really established himself and put on one of the better performances that have ever been in the World League.
15,461 fans turned out to see the final home game against the London Monarchs. Jim Ballard got his first start at quarterback following his superb performance against the Admirals. The fans were hoping to see the London Monarchs sliced up by Ballard and his troops. London head coach Lionel Taylor had turned around the Monarchs' fortunes, and they still had a faint glimmer of a chance for the World Bowl spot. The Claymores won the toss, kicked off, and London marched 75 yards to the Claymores' 4.
Jones passes, touchdown, Willie Hinchcliffe, 4 yards. Hinchcliffe beat Forey Duckett.
An early lead for London, and the Claymores couldn't come up with a touchdown in reply. But Paul McCallum was sent in to attempt a 51-yard field goal worth 4 points.
McCallum certainly got the distance.
He's got it.
Hoofed that thing. And that's good for 4. What a kick.
Paul McCallum's cool execution made the kicker a tremendous asset for the Claymores. In the second quarter, Jim Ballard confidently marshaled his troops on a 46-yard drive down to London's 35.
Well, Ballard is doing a pretty decent job. Finds the outlet man, Ron Dickerson, who's got a lot of running room. Well, could be gone. Only Stud still to beat. And is he in his touchdown? What a play from Dickerson. Stud still had the angle, but Dickerson just too fast and too strong.
That's just a great effort. Once again, watch the protection. Watch the big boys in blue up front. Hits the end of a drop, doesn't see what he wants downfield. And the slip right there. And Dickerson does a great job of going into the end zone, pulling Mark Montroy, Darren Studstill, 27, into the end zone.
The Claymores missed a 2-point conversion attempt, but still led 10-7. 2 possessions later, Jim Ballard surveyed the London end zone from the Monarchs' 12.
Third down for the newly married Jim Ballard. Touchdown, Yo Murphy.
They run the double slant routes. You're going to see Cooper 81 come inside, and then Murphy's going to follow him. That gives a dilemma now to the safety. You see, they're not sure. Studstill didn't really know who to go to. As a result, they throw it to the second man in, Yo Murphy, for the score.
No messing around with 2-point conversions here. Gavin Hastings attempts the extra point. That one is good. And the London Monarchs are in trouble.
2 London touchdowns to a touchdown and a field goal for Scotland in the second half made the score 27-21. Saran Stacey decided it was time to go to work.
Stacey met. Great second effort and gone. Put that one in the book. Touchdown, Scotland. He just exploded.
Another great move. The pro scouts will count how many yards a guy makes after he's touched. He's touched once, he's touched twice, and the rest he just blows people away.
Sean Crocker can't get to him. The extra point is missed by Gavin Hastings.
Power, speed, and magic. And Saran Stacey gave the Claymores full control with a 12-point lead. The Monarchs got one back to make it respectable when Mike Titley broke the end zone plane on a 2-yard touchdown catch from Jones. But one touchdown does not a comeback make. And after recovering the onside kick, the Claymores celebrated their first home win over the old enemy, 33-28. Jim Ballard revitalizing the offense.
Waited all year to get my chance, and last week I got my opportunity, and you know what they say, when you get your opportunity, you got to make the most of it.
Feels good to, once again, to kick some English butt. Love y'all, Scotland. Love all y'all.
At the press conference, Jim Criner's war cry echoed through Murrayfield for the 5th time that season.
All right, how about them Claymores?
Week 10, the final regular season game against the Dragons in Barcelona. The Claymores' priority was to stay healthy ahead of the World Bowl, and in an ugly but high-scoring game, they came off the worst, losing 32-27. But there was one blazing ray of sunshine.
2nd down and 20. And Ballard moves up nicely to avoid the rush. He's looking deep downfield.
Oh, nice catch.
Cooper, and
beautiful
a touchdown by Scott Cooper. A national player from Strathclyde University.
And a legitimate Einstein-type individual.
Yes, going for his PhD, writing his thesis.
That's a NFL catch right there. Watch Ballard step up to avoid the rush. Now he knows where he wants to be. Nice job by Wagner on the outside. Throws the ball. Now watch him go up and get this ball. In between coverage. And they have 2 defenders back there.
Jim Ballard's precision passing made him an exciting prospect in the upcoming World Bowl. Frankfurt Galaxy beat the Admirals to claim the 2nd World Bowl spot, and the following week, the world's sporting media descended on Murrayfield in eager anticipation. The league president looked forward to the big day.
There's a lot of organizational elements involved, particularly because of the Backfields Party. And we've got a 130-piece marching band from the University of Maryland, which is coming in today to perform. We've got Gunn and the Tartan Amoebas. We're expecting a large crowd, the biggest crowd we've ever had for American football. So to make that all happen, it's been a lot of work, a lot of people working very, very hard hours, not only internally but also externally. The SRU has worked hard in supporting the event. The city of Edinburgh and the council has worked very hard helping us out on certain things. So it's nice to see it all come together for a great game on Sunday.
We could well have 40,000 plus fans here to watch this game, and I think it's and the fact that we're going to be going back to the United States and we're going to be going to 129 countries worldwide. You know, there may be as many as 200 million people watching this game, and to see 40,000 Scots you know, cheering on the Claymores, I think is going to be, you know, a great day for all of us.
World Bowl Sunday, June 23rd, a gorgeous afternoon. Almost 40,000 people turned out for a monster 4-hour pregame party. A fantastic family atmosphere prevailed. Claymores fans mingled with the visiting Frankfurt support in happy anticipation of the match. The University of Maryland marching band added a genuine touch of Americana, but the Claymores faced Frankfurt without some of their most outstanding players. The league's most valuable men on defense, Ty Parton, Herman Carroll, Jared Kayahalo, national player Robert Flickinger, and wideout Lee Gissendaner. These 5 had made crucial contributions but would miss the big game. Scottish Claymores versus Frankfurt Galaxy for World Bowl 96. After 4 hours of partying, the fans were all fired up for their football action, and they roared their approval as the Claymores took the field. Gavin Hastings got things underway, kicking off to the Galaxy.
Mario Bailey fields at about his 8. Gets past the first guy, still on his feet. And Bailey, loose ball, fumble on the opening kickoff, and it's going in for a Scottish touchdown. What a start! And it's Marcus Thomas.
Now here's the play here. I want you to watch Bailey fighting for extra yards, and this is when you're always susceptible to losing the ball. Right there, George Coghill with the rape on the right side. He brought his right arm down, and you talk about lucky bounces.
And the extra point good from Gavin Hastings. And with 11 seconds gone of World Bowl 96, the Claymores are 7-0 up.
The fastest touchdown in World League history and a bad start for Frankfurt. We pick it up on Galaxy's opening drive.
So the Galaxy close to midfield, trying to put away that disastrous start. In goes Simon, runs up the middle, has some room there, and will pick up 8 or 9 yards. 8 yards for Seibert. If Frankfurt get a running game going here, it'll be very interesting. They're the worst in the league with the run. Bobby Phillips now has the ball and doesn't get a first. Will be very close to first down yardage. Mark Sander coming round with help from Arnold Allais.
Their second leading rusher with 49 attempts or 149 yards. You got a serious problem because he may be your best back.
Average of 65 yards. The keeper from Palour, he only had to get about 6 inches at most. And I'll be very surprised if he hasn't made it, but we'll have to wait for the official adjudication. He's working a first down at the Claymores 40. They fake And they throw, and they've got Gary Harrell, who is pushed out of bounds by Ulrich Duckett, but that's going to be another first down. The drive starting at Frankfurt's own 20. They're at Scotland's 21, on the ground. And good for about 5 yards.
Frankfurt can get a run going. That will be a big, big factor in this game.
And they have been running it. They do the reverse to Jay Kearney. Kearney with blockers, with a lot of blockers. Could go. Touchdown, Frankfurt. What a response.
Did you see who threw the block? The key block, Steve Pelor. The fans fight over the ball there. The quarterback makes a great block on the reverse. Watch 16 Pelor. Look at this.
Good block.
Boy, you're going to get big points back home for that one. And David Webb, that's one he's not going to want to look at on the film tomorrow.
Jay Kearney coolly doing the damage for Frankfurt, and Ralph Kleinman made it 7 with his extra point. More damage for the Claymores on the next drive when Don Reynolds slipped his blockers and sacked Jim Ballard. And it looked like disaster for the Claymores when the World League's most valuable offensive player, Sean LaChapelle, suffered a groin strain when he was running a pass route. LaChapelle had to leave the game, and that meant that Yo Murphy had to step up and fill his shoes. The Claymores had to punt from inside their own end zone.
Paul McCallum, and they came after him.
Oh, and he went down.
Only just got it away. Gary Harrell fields at the Scotland 38 and is down all the way to the 30-yard line.
With great field position, Galaxy quarterback Steve Pelor took time before the snap and scanned the end zone from the Claymores 31.
Time looking for Mario Bailey, got it, and coughed it up. Now are they going to say had it? No, incomplete. Excellent job from Duckett, brings up 3rd and 10. Pelor, shotgun. 4 wide receivers out. Pelor gets hit by Gerald Jeffco, gets it off, and it's caught by Gary Harrell. The ball was tipped up in the air by David Wilson. He couldn't hang on. Harrell could to the 1. What a play.
Watch the hit that Pelor takes from 99 Jeffcoat. He breaks the double team. And this here is just football, folks. David Wilson has got to catch the ball.
1st and goal. They give to Bobby Phillips, who's met and hit. John DeWitt, the first man there. Joe O'Brien was there too. So too was Emmett Waldron. Well, the Scottish defense will be happy to get out of this with a field goal against them. They stay on the ground. Bobby Phillips can't get anywhere. Mark Sander draped all over it. Duckett came up and helped. It's out of the shotgun. Harrell in motion. Pelor looks, has a man. Touchdown.
Oh, what a catch. What a catch.
Mario Bailey. Lineman with a much longer extra point. No problem at all. And with 10:21 remaining in the first half of World Bowl 96, the Frankfurt Galaxy have overcome a wretched start to take a 14-7 lead over the Scottish Claymores, courtesy of Mario Bailey.
The extra point was good, and Super Mario showed how he earned his nickname. On the Claymores' next drive, they turned to Grandmaster running back Saran Stacy. But Galaxy linebacker Ronnie Woolfork stripped the ball, and his fellow linebacker Tom Cavallo came up with it at the bottom of the dog pile. When Steve Pelor tried to shoot his way out, defensive end Brian Proby got in behind enemy lines and sacked him on his own 1-yard line. Galaxy had to punt.
Fiery punts from his own end zone. Marcus Thomas fields at midfield and is trouble. Fumbled the ball. Lucky for Thomas. Somebody was there to recover. It's David Wilson. And Wilson's still on his feet to the 40 and stays on his feet all the way to the 38-yard line. First down from the 39 of their opponents for Scotland. Ballard goes upstairs, has a man, and he's got it all the way down inside the 5 to the 1. Yo Murphy thinks he got a touchdown, but he's down at the 1. Huge play for Scotland.
He said Yo Murphy was going to have to step up. He just runs right by. See Chris Hall, 32. And Dixon is late coming over from the safety position. That's a great throw and a good catch.
First and goal. Motion. They give. And they're doing the whistles and flags. They're going to have to do this one again. Saran Stacy didn't get in anyway. Murphy goes wide left. Cooper wide right. Ferguson and Stacey in the backfield. Tate, the tight end. Ballard drops the pass, looks in the direction of Yo Murphy. Got him. Touchdown, Scotland.
Going to get a better look at it here. 3 steps, that ball is out of there. 32 Hall, he sees it right now. He overruns it a tad.
Gavin Hastings has to make this extra point. This game's going to be a close one, and he hasn't.
Great pressure. So the Claymores trailed by a point, 14-13. After a season of solid play, it was suddenly clear that Yo Murphy didn't have to stand in anybody's shadow. We pick it up on the restart kickoff.
Mike Bellamy fields at the 8-yard line. Less than a minute ready. He's coughed the ball up. Loose ball, and it's still loose. And Shannon Jones has got it for Scotland at the 15. We've got something of everything in this game.
Bellamy, he's just running along. It looks as though he just loses the ball. See how long he takes to tuck it away? But if you look at Bellamy's wrist, he's got his wrist taped up pretty tight.
First down gets Willie Tate, the tight end. And Tate probably got back to the original line of scrimmage and then ended up about 9 yards further back. Frankfurt are not going to give up much. Ballard has it batted up in the air. Oh, boy. And that does stop the clock with 13 seconds remaining. Ballard on 3rd down and long. Pressure comes from Kerr. Ballard looks for Murphy. Has he got it? Yes, touchdown. What a catch.
That was unbelievable.
We said Yo Murphy has to step up with LaChapelle injured. You can't do more than this.
He goes to the old post corner. Chris Hall sees it, and he makes him do what he has to do, float that ball out there. But that's an amazing catch. Incredible. And you know what? If we let it roll, I think he got 2 feet in. In the NFL, he's going to get credit for 2 feet in. I think he dots the I and gets them both in. In this league, you only got to have 1 foot in. Yeah, Jimmy, he made you look good on that one.
This for 2. Looks, has a lot of time, now gets the pressure, just has to get rid of it.
Coach Kreiner couldn't help but be disappointed that the 2-point conversion was missed, but Yo Murphy's astounding one-handed grasp in the end zone ensured a halftime lead for Scotland. Both teams traded punts at the start of the 3rd quarter, but the Claymores were the first to add to their scoreboard tally. Paul McCallum coolly split the uprights from 46 yards, and that made it 22-14 Scotland. Galaxy trailed by 8 and were anxious lest the Claymores should pull ahead out of sight.
A lot of checking at the line.
Ballard drops, gets excellent protection again, goes for Mario Bailey. Got him, has he? They ruled it a touchdown, and Bailey's done it again.
Super Mario put on the speed, and the James gang found themselves 1 step behind. Steve Pallure went for 2, but threw incomplete, and the Claymores led by 2, 22-20. With the game finally balanced, we pick it up on the Claymores' first play after the restart kick.
Nervous times for both these teams. Ballard goes upstairs, has a man, has a first down, and more for Yo Murphy.
He's going to score. What a throw.
It's wrong. It's another touchdown for Yo Murphy. And we talked about Scotland hitting back quickly, and they've done it.
That was an unbelievable throw. You're going to see it again. That ball's in the air a long time. Doggett's looking at it. Doggett looked as though he was going to knock the ball out. And you're not going to catch Yo.
Now, Gavin Hastings can kick an extra point here. It's a 9-point lead, and that really would be significant. Frankfurt would have to score twice. But he missed the last one. And he's missed that one as well. Gavin Hastings has picked the worst possible day to have a stinker.
It just wasn't Gavin's day. And after Frankfurt were forced to punt in the 4th quarter, the Galaxy D keyed on Saran Stacey, forcing another fumble. The purple and orange came up with the pigskin.
3rd down and a bunch for Pallure. And it's picked off! And it's James Fuller.
He should try to score with this.
Fuller still on his feet. Gary Harrell brings him down.
The offense couldn't move it, but Paul McCallum thought he'd have a try.
They did one. Has another on its way. Got the distance. And good. He's done it again.
Another 4-point field goal from 50 yards for Paul McCallum, and the Claymores could feel their grip tightening on their first world title. But Frankfurt weren't finished just yet.
4 minutes left. Pallur upstairs again has Gary Harrell, who steps out of bounds ahead of David Wilson, down to the 38-yard line, stops the clock. 3:53 left. Low snap. Pallur handles it well. Gets it off. Has Mike Bellamy, who rolls out of bounds. 3.5 minutes remaining. Frankfurt.
And the Claymores got a problem on the defense. They're not sure. They got people running on the field the last minute.
Pallur goes, has a man, and that's because of the confusion. Pallur with another completion.
And they realize they got plenty of time. Plus, they got a 2-minute warning that'll stop the clock.
Pallur has another man again. Jay Kearney gets himself out of bounds ahead of Forey Duckett inside 3 minutes remaining.
That's face mask. They're going to get him for the face mask, if not the personal foul for going around his head.
2:54 left. Frankfurt knocking on the door. Pallur from the shotgun. Lots of time. Goes over the middle. Got a man. Touchdown Frankfurt. Mike Bellamy. This one is not over.
You cannot give a quarterback like Steve Pallur that much time to throw the football.
A textbook touchdown pass from Steve Pallur as Frankfurt showed the form that made them World League champs in '95. It all set up a thrilling finale. Turning to Saran Stacey, the Claymores tried to keep possession and run out the clock. But on third down, Yo Murphy couldn't hang on, and the Claymores decided to punt it to Galaxy. That gave the Germans one more chance, and the Claymores had to rely on their D to hold the line.
The season comes down to this one final drive for the Scottish Claymores and the Frankfurt Galaxy. Shotgun and 4 wide receivers in for Frankfurt. Harrell in motion. Pallur has time. Goes to the sideline, has a man.
He didn't get out. The clock's on.
James Williams with an excellent tackle. Remember, a field goal, no good. They have to get 6. Time again for Pallur. Got a man over the middle. Doesn't want to be there. Right in the middle. Can't stop the clock. Mario Bailey again. 1:13. It's still running. 2nd and 4. Pallur shotgun again. The 4 wideouts staying in. He's overthrown everybody. Looking in the vicinity of Mario Bailey. James Williams in coverage. 3rd and 8. Harrell, the motion man. Pallur from the shotgun. With time again, has Harrell. Harrell hit by Fuller and Williams.
Oh, no, he didn't get out of bounds. He did not get out of bounds. Did he get the first down?
Short of the first down as well. 4th down and a yard. Clock still running. They can't just spike it. It's 4th down
They got
and 1.
2 choices, quick outs, or they got to run it.
34 seconds. What's a bad snap? Smart play. They've got a first down, but they can't stop the clock.
I think that was a planned play, and the refs are going to talk about it. Oh.
Ingo Cyber keeping his head.
Oh, wait a minute. I don't know if that was a
Well, the clock is down to 19 seconds, the game clock. But another call.
That's a 4th down fumble. It can't. The ball.
And that means it's all over.
Here's the rule, Nick. A fumble on 4th down, the ball cannot be advanced by anybody else, by the person who didn't touch it first. The person who touched it first was Steve Pallur.
Even a controversial note at the end of the game could take nothing away from the Claymores' achievement. A world champion bucket dunk for Coach Kreiner for leading his team from worst to first in just 1 season. The atmosphere was ecstatic. The final score, 32-27 in favor of Scotland. Ernie Stautner could walk proud. His Galaxy came close to retaining their title, and the Claymores ascended the victory platform.
Head coach Jim Kreiner, you have brought the World Bowl to Edinburgh. You are the 1996 World Bowl champs. Please raise the trophy high.
With unceasing hard work and determination, the Scottish Claymores achieved what had seemed impossible only a year before, going from worst to first in a single season. The fans fully understood the magnitude of what they just witnessed, and it was especially sweet for special teams captain Ben Torriero.
It was something that, you know, I wouldn't have traded places with anybody to be there. You know, I was the special teams captain in the 1996 World Bowl
berth-clinching claymores, and we were going to be champions that day, and there was just nothing going to take us. There was something that said, you know, the old lottery finger came down from the sky and said, it is you, you know, and we were going to be it this year. There were times when we threw things away, there was times when we pulled it back again, but I think everybody believed, had such a strong belief in themselves, in the claymores. Not only themselves, but they had a strong belief in the man standing next to them, and I think that really is what pulled the claymores through this year.
Well, I think that it was all the work that everybody in the organization put in. I was happiest for everybody in the organization who may not have ever been in a situation to you know, to feel what it's like to win a championship. And even more so, I was really delighted for Jim and for the players who were coming back to the Claymores from 1995, the Sir Ann Stacys and the George Coggles and the Mark Sanders and all those guys who really suffered through a really tough year for them. And to be able to have that kind of turnaround and to see it in their eyes and the enjoyment and the fun and the excitement that they had was reward enough for me.
I would look for us to be a much better football team next year, and as a result of this, I think you can expect not only in the press corps but also hopefully at the end of each and every season, the cry and the rally, how about them Claymores, you know, should be a prominent fixture around here.